Over the weekend, I saw something on social media, and because it was social media, I spent some time to verify it. And it's just a short film clip of the Ward 7 City Council representative for Minneapolis, a gal named Katie Cashman. And she was, I don't know the event she was attending, but she was promoting. She wants to create a city hotline. A new, I think they're 311 numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
She wants to promote a new 311 number where you can, well, there's no other word for it, where you can snitch on your neighbors if you see them using too much salt.
Wow.
Not on a margarita or food. The presumption, of course, is this means salting an icy step or driveway. And I spent some time looking into this because I found it hard to believe, but it's all true. Katie lives in the Stevens Square, Loring Heights neighborhood and grew up in Minneapolis, spending her summers swimming in Cedar Lake and serving breakfast at Uptown Diner.
Okay.
She holds a BA in geography from McGill University in Montreal and an MS small c, I don't know what that is, in urban planning and management from Technical University Berlin in Germany. I'm going to take a wild guess. It's neither here nor there, but I would say, and I could be wrong, but I'm suspecting she has come from some means.
Okay.
Is that a good way to put it?
It's District or Ward 7. Which
She got all the rich people.
Yeah.
That's the rich people's ward.
Cedar Isle, Kenwood, Linden Hills, Loring Park.
Remind me, isn't she the one that you had held out hope for?
No.
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 I thought when she was elected.
No.
Okay, I'm confusing her with somebody else. Then I'm sorry.
Following her international studies, Katie worked at the UN in the Urban Legislation Unit of the Human Settlements Program. She helped municipalities around the world build environmental and social infrastructure to improve people's lives.
I just discovered audio of her saying this, if you'd like.
I'd like to hear it.
This is Katie. This is dated June 21st, promoting the city hotline number.
Property managers, and one big focus of mine is creating a new 311 problem nature code so that you can actually tell on your neighbors if you see them oversalting,
Wow.
and then the city will deliver an educational resource to them. So, it's important for the city to take a heavy hand every once in a while because we're entrusted with that responsibility.
Oh, she's openly admitting the city needs to take a heavy hand. Oh, my word.
Let's continue.
Okay.
Katie also founded and led a nonprofit that is advancing climate change education in classrooms globally, including here in our own Minneapolis Public Schools elementary schools. Most recently, Katie worked as a project manager at the Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy. Let me gather my thoughts for a moment. As a council member, Katie leads with transparency. Well, you know what? That's not a lie, because that was pretty transparent to say, I know we got to get heavy-handed once in a while, but I want to create a snitch line. She helps connect Ward 7 residents to City Hall and work together for solutions to the pressing daily issues we face in our neighborhoods. In her free time, you can find Katie biking around Lake of the Isles or walking her dog Hazel through the Walker Sculpture Garden. And then she's on the various boards and commissions. But I looked something up. Does she have some history with salt? Why salt? Why?
Well, I can help you.
I got it.
Oh,
I got it.
There's another clip, but go ahead. Sorry.
What's the other clip?
Well, she was speaking at the We Are Water exhibit, opening at RSM Plaza in the old Panera downtown. She explained that some of the things the Climate and Infrastructure Committee that she chairs have done to protect water in Minneapolis. This was on the 21st.
Okay.
When she was speaking.
Well, it turns out.
We are water.
Well, Chris,
here,
wait a minute.
No.
Sodium chloride is bad for the water. It's bad for all of us. I don't think I'm disputing myself personally the fact that too much salt, not good.
Well, her invoking, though, a snitch line presumes that she must know what the proper amount of salt is.
Therein lies
Who's
my
determining
issue.
that?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, to continue with her history of salt, on January 27th, she was very active in announcing Winter Salt Week. This past year, just this year, 2025, January 27 to 31 was Winter Salt Week. It's not a whole week, but that was
Food trucks, the whole deal.
Well, you had an eye on salt. Dilution is not the solution. And they had the Public Works Speak and Policy Solutions panel. What I'm gathering is that she might care more about natural ecosystems than she does people.
Sure.
I don't mean that in a mean-spirited way, but based on just this scant amount of information I have on her, she has no real-world life experience except policy making and natural ecosystems and public infrastructure and all of these things that apparently the voters in the rich people's part of Minneapolis, they think this is fine. Yes, John.
If I may interject here, for at least 2 years, the city of Minneapolis has had a full page dedicated to this online.
Really?
Salt reduction measures in Minneapolis. And in that page, you can click on another link that will take you to a salt mini course.
Oh.
A salt mini course that will take you about a half hour to finish.
You get,
according to
yeah.
this.
Do you get a diploma? Or?
How can I don't think we can sit here and rip that with conscience, Joe. We're water guys. We love the water.
I am, but how do I suppose the salt course teaches you the amount of salt you should use.
I would think
fine.
so.
You would
I
know
don't
that instinctively.
If they want to do that,
I do.
I am not turning I'm not turning people in. The snitch line is what really has me bent out of shape.
I think I might turn you in.
Snitch lines have become very popular, though, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I'm again
Started with
snitch
COVID.
lines.
Yeah.
COVID.
I too am a water person, and I don't want undue harm to come to the water. Okay.
But are you going to peek out your blinds and
But I'm not turning anybody
get
in.
the stopwatch out and estimate how much the neighbor's throwing down?
Yeah.
Maybe run out like Karen. That's enough.
That's too much salt.
I'm turning you in.
Just take them out.
I have a
full
question
speed.
because in Minneapolis, aren't we shoveling everybody's sidewalks and driveways? Isn't the city doing that?
Did we ever come to that? Did we ever? I don't think that's been passed.
Oh, we didn't pass that. Okay, then forget my question.
This is about the place in the conversation where Matthew chimes in to give us the benefits of something he calls grit.
Oh, grit is manna from heaven. Grit is so great because when you're done with it, and this is very, very
Save it for
resourceful.
next year.
You save it for next year. You put it in one of the big coconut oil can or 5-gallon buckets, and you got free grit for next year. You can't do that with salt.
Well, go ahead.
Well, there is on that page, Joe, you said it probably tells you how to do it.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing how to apply salt. Apply salt in specific areas. Space each grain of salt about
geese?
3 inches apart.
We're down to the grain.
wait, what?
No.
John,
Each
I-
grain of salt.
John,
It's
I
all
don't
right
believe
here.
that.
I'm on the City of Minneapolis's page for environmental
You
programs.
shake
Salt
it out,
mini
a lot of
course.
grains come out.
I use a coffee cup. And
Then
just
you got to
fling
get
it.
down on your hands and knees
With
and
the ruler.
with a tape measure and
Yep.
put them all an
like
inch
it's
apart.
pepperoni on a pizza
Yeah.
that you're rearranging before you put it in the oven.
And they also say, and I actually have done this, once your ice melts, sweep the salt up and reuse it, which I actually have done.
I do it just to keep it off my shoes, then I don't track it in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Check it out.
Let me,
Lay it down, Mayor. Give it to us.
and I'm keeping in mind what we talked about before the show.
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying hard. I'm trying.
So Katie, cuter than the bug's ear, by the way, young woman. She's accomplished a lot if you just go by her resume. But what she's accomplished has nothing to do with living your life in Minneapolis. Now, she might argue, well, of course it does. Well, no, it doesn't. if you're a nuclear family with children in Minneapolis, nothing she's an expert at affects your life. Nothing. She's not there. I think she's just really, really an earth person more than a people person.
In GL, I've been saying this for years. I don't know if I think you agree. We help each other. So let's a scenario. You're a salt guy. You're throwing it down with a pail. You're grit guy, Matthew, next door.
Yep.
Well, what are you going to do, Matthew? You're going to stroll over there, a cup of coffee in your hand. How are you going to approach your salty old neighbor there?
I'm going to be more direct. I'm going to say I noticed that your salt usage has been rather large, and I think we should discuss this a little bit further
And such.
and so forth.
And offer him some grit. Try this out.
Would you like to try
Would you like
grit?
to try some grit?
Look at this grit. Look at what this does.
Yes.
I'm just looking
Well,
at
that's
the.
for stability, but that's not melting.
I'm looking
And
at
it's
the
not
map.
turning him in and calling a hotline.
Right.
I'm getting on in years.
But I am getting sick of the smoke fires in your backyard,
Yeah.
so knock that off.
I'm getting on in years, but I never thought I'd see the day when an elected official wanted to create a snitch line for salt. I wouldn't have had that in my bingo card.
Well, I was looking at Old Ward 7, the old map.
That's a nice area of town.
No, it's your Dayton's Bluff,
No,
Battle Creek.
no,
Yes,
no,
it is.
no.
That's St.
That's St. Paul. Thank you very
I
much.
got it right here.
That's St. Paul, Chris.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, she's in Minneapolis.
Well, my point was going to be.
Well, the point now is so diminished. That I don't
whatever
know.
ward it is, that's really not the pressing issue of the city.
I think we've been saying that, and I think
John,
you're right.
Yes.
You brought up that there's a lot of snitch lines now. It would be fun to collect a list of the various snitch lines that exist around the country. I know we've got the COVID thing, the mask thing. Now we have the salt thing. What else do we have?
We got apparently there's a Department of Education line that you can call if you think a school is promoting DEI.
Jesus.
John,
I'm sure-
we never got to it, but late last week, John, you had in your news, and I don't know if you reported it, but I know we had the story of the fellow who bicycles around New York, and he turns in the license plate
That's
numbers
right.
of cars that are idling, and he gets a taste for that. He gets a piece of the action.
And it's a handsome sum.
And he's making six figures a year. What he does is get up in the morning. He spends his day turning in trucks and cabs and cars that for some reason are running.
Yeah.
They're idling, and that's against the law in New York to idle,
Okay.
unattended apparently. And so he turns that in. The fines are, $300-400 or
Yeah,
something.
$350 to $600.
Yeah, and how does he get paid?
He gets a quarter.
It's a bounty.
If you report them, you get a quarter of that money. So if it's $600, he gets $125 for that.
That's amazing.
That report.
Jeez.
Wow.
No, he gets more than that. He gets. What am I talking about? Bad math on my part. Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to do the math because listeners get very angry.
He gets $150, obviously, for each $600 one.
The fact that even exists is an outrage.
He drives around. I saw the film or the pictures and read the story. I think it was New York Post or somebody's got it.
Everybody
he drives
has it.
around town and he just turns you in.
It's unreal.
Yeah. He used to be, and maybe you just said this and I missed it, a Wall Street banker.
I
And he
did
quit-
not say that.
He quit that because this is plenty lucrative.
Oh, wow. He's no
Holy-
dummy.
What the hell? Well, anyway, Katie Cashman. To my way of thinking, not representative of the human condition at all, but might be a great gal, and she wins the election, and she'll bring you a nice snitch line.
We've been remarkably polite discussing this. I wonder if she would agree to come on and visit with us. It'd be interesting to get to know her, kind of what's in her brain.
I'll be glad to. Do you think she's ever been in a hardware store? Maybe to buy salt.
Okay, maybe. That's the
Or
only-
grit.
Or to point the finger
right.
at the salt cellar.
I get all my salt from Fratelloni's. And I'll be damned if I'm going to get down on my hands and knees and separate grains an inch apart.
All I know is I have American salt. My salt does not come from China.
Remember the guy last year who has the euphorian neighbor that he's had to
Yes.
bail out of a lot of jams?
Yeah.
And she came out with the table salt shaker and was dumping it behind her wheels.
The Morton's blue cardboard
Yeah.
salt thing.
When it rains, it pours, huh, lady?